He never barked. He never scratched at the door. He just sat down in front of me and refused to move. And that single, silent decision may have saved my life. I want to tell you about a case that changed how I think about German Shepherds, not as a trainer, but as someone who witnessed exactly what this breed is capable of when it matters most. This isn't a dramatic movie moment with alarms blaring. It's quieter than that. And honestly, that's what makes it more remarkable. A client of mine, someone I'd worked with for years on basic obedience and structure training, called me one afternoon, sounding shaken. Her 3-year-old German Shepherd, a dog named Kade, who'd never shown a single unusual behavior in his life, had done something completely out of character the night before. She'd been sitting on her couch, feeling a little off, but brushing it aside as fatigue, when Kade walked over, sat directly in front of her, and stared. Not the normal, I want a treat stare, a fixed, unblinking, unmoving stare that lasted several minutes. When she tried to get up to go to bed, he blocked her path. Gently, but deliberately. She described it as him herding her back onto the couch. She sat back down, more out of confusion than obedience, and within 20 minutes, she started experiencing chest tightness and dizziness. Her family rushed her to the ER, where she was treated for a cardiac event that, thankfully, she recovered from. The doctors told her that had she gone to sleep instead of remaining upright and getting help, when symptoms escalated, the outcome could have been very different. Now, I want to be careful here, because this is exactly the kind of story that gets sensationalized online. And sensationalizing it does a disservice to what actually happened. Kade didn't diagnose a heart condition. He's not a medical device. What he did was notice a change in his owner's baseline behavior and physiology. And he responded to that change the only way dogs know how, through instinctive, protective action. This is where the science becomes genuinely fascinating. German Shepherds, like many dogs, have scent detection capabilities far beyond human comprehension. Current research into canine olfaction shows dogs can detect certain volatile organic compounds released by the body during physiological stress, illness, or shifts in blood chemistry. This is the same underlying ability that allows trained medical alert dogs to detect drops in blood sugar or oncoming seizures. Kade wasn't trained for any of that. Nobody taught him to respond to chest pain. What he likely picked up on was a combination of subtle scent changes and behavioral shifts, things like altered breathing, minor changes in movement, maybe even a change in his owner's voice or posture that registered as wrong compared to the thousands of hours of baseline data he'd built up simply from living beside her. This is the part most people miss when they hear stories like this. It's not one single sense working alone. It's the combination. Scent, sound, movement, and routine, all cross-referenced constantly, forming an incredibly detailed picture of what normal looks like for the person they live with. When something breaks that pattern, especially something as significant as a physiological event, many dogs respond with heightened alertness, clinginess, or in Kade's case, outright physical intervention. Here's a mistake I see constantly, even among experienced owners. People assume this kind of behavior is either fully trainable or entirely coincidental, when the reality sits somewhere in between. You cannot train a dog to detect a heart arrhythmia the way Kade seemingly did. That kind of response usually comes from the dog's own instinctive sensitivity, combined with an unusually strong bond and years of close behavioral observation. What you can do, and this matters, is avoid suppressing those instincts when they show up. If your dog is persistently and unusually fixated on you in a way that feels different from normal attention seeking, that's worth paying attention to, rather than dismissing as clinginess or bad behavior. That leads to a question I get asked constantly after sharing stories like this. How do you tell the difference between a dog being clingy for normal reasons, like boredom or separation anxiety, and a dog reacting to something genuinely different? The honest answer is that context matters more than the behavior itself. Normal clinginess tends to be consistent and tied to identifiable triggers, like time of day, being left alone, or a change in routine. What Kade displayed was sudden, intense, and completely out of character for him. That contrast is usually the biggest clue. A dog abruptly behaving in a way it never has before is far more significant than a dog exhibiting a behavior it does often. So how can owners actually apply this in daily life? First, know your dog's normal behavioral baseline extremely well. That means paying attention not just to obvious things like appetite or energy, but subtle patterns, how they typically greet you, how they position themselves in a room, how they respond to your voice. The better you know the baseline, the faster you'll notice a genuine deviation. Second, if your dog suddenly displays intense, persistent, out-of-character focus on you, don't automatically correct it as unwanted behavior. Pause and consider whether something might be different, physically or emotionally, before assuming it's simply a training issue. Third, understand that this sensitivity is a byproduct of the bond you've built, not something that can be manufactured overnight. Dogs that are given consistent structure, calm leadership, and genuine time with their owners tend to develop this kind of attentiveness far more than dogs raised in inconsistent or highly stressful environments. I also want to address something important, because I don't want anyone walking away from this thinking their German Shepherd is a substitute for medical awareness or professional care. Dogs are not diagnostic tools, and their behavior should never replace paying attention to your own body and seeking medical advice when something feels wrong. What stories like Kade's really teach us is something more foundational, that these dogs are remarkably attuned to us, often in ways we don't fully understand yet, and that attentiveness is worth respecting rather than dismissing. What happened with Kade wasn't magic, and it wasn't training. It was the natural result of a dog whose entire biology is built around observing, tracking, and responding to the person he lives with, combined with a level of trust and closeness built over years. That's the real takeaway here. The extraordinary things this breed does aren't separate from ordinary daily life with them. They come directly out of it, out of routine walks, consistent structure, and simply being present with your dog day after day. If this story affected you the way it affected me the first time I heard it, you're going to want to see our next video, where we break down the specific behavioral signs that separate normal attention-seeking from a dog reacting to something genuinely wrong. If you found value in this, hit like so more people can come across this story. Subscribe if you want more real, research-grounded looks into what German Shepherds are truly capable of, and share this with someone who owns one and might not realize just how closely their dog is paying attention.